Hi everyone. My name's AkhandD. I'm a film junior, and this is my explorations presentation on.
Screenwriting is the act of writing a screenplay. A screenplay is essentially the blueprint of a film. It outlines the process for everybody involved, like directors, producers, actors, and the crew. I chose to study screenwriting for the Explorations unit for a couple reasons. First, it seemed pretty sensible to study something that I could do holed up at home with all the coronavirus. And second, I really like writing. I really enjoyed English class during the narrative unit where we got to write short stories. That's why, for my Explorations production, I decided to adapt one of the short stories that I wrote in English during narrative unit into a screenplay. I began my research by looking up what exactly a screenwriter does. Basically, a screenwriter starts out by writing spec scripts, which they hope will be turned into films. These spec scripts are then sent to literary agencies, which are the middlemen between writers and producers. Finally, if the writer's script is selected by producers, it's edited and rewritten into a shooting script, which is the script used for the production of the film. The vast majority of scripts remain spec scripts, but a lucky and talented few make it big. Because scripts have to be understood by basically everybody involved in making the movie, formatting is key. These days, screenwriting softwares will take care of most of the formatting for you, like margins or indentation. But to write a screenplay, you have to learn how to use all the different kinds of elements in a script. Elements are different types of text in a script, each with a different role. One such element is action. Action is text that sets the scene, describes the setting, introduces characters, describes anything characters do, and describes anything that happens. It's pretty general purpose. Another element is dialogue. Dialogue is, as you all probably know, anything that a character says. Action and dialogue are probably the two most used elements in screenwriting, but the rest are just as important. But we aren't going to talk about them because that's boring. If you're interested, I have a handy guide I made on my website you can check out. Next, I began researching how to screenwrite well. I learned a few general tips about the process that helped me out as a beginning screenwriter. First, make your characters three-dimensional. Don't make their entire personality perfect golden boy or evil villain. Adding flaws or contradictions to characters is the easiest way to give your writing nuance. Second, only use dialogue when you need to. The entire year we've had Mr. Greco and Mr. Taylor drilling it into our heads. Show, don't tell. That isn't to say barely use dialogue. All I'm saying is reflect on your scenes and see if the dialogue you have written in is filler. If it is, think of more creative ways to communicate with your audience. Film is, after all, a visual medium. And lastly, story is king. Make sure that when you're writing, you're taking several steps back to look at your entire story. Is your character's change believable throughout the film, or is it too sudden and ham-fisted? Did you write yourself into a hole anywhere? Are there any filler scenes? Outlining your script before diving in headfirst can ensure that you don't make any of these mistakes. To put all my newfound knowledge to the test, I wrote my very own screenplay. Two, actually. The first is the screenplay I talked about at the beginning of my presentation, and the second is actually the one I'm using to make this presentation. I wrote the screenplay for this presentation to practice using a screenwriting software. I chose Trelby. It was actually really easy to learn, and after the first 10 or so minutes, I had the hang of it. Yeah, I just plugged it. Yeah, they're gonna love it. So, after writing the script for this video as practice, I set to work adapting my English short story. The story is about an Indian couple in their late 50s, Ramesh and Reema. Reema gets involved in an extramarital relationship and struggles with whether to tell Ramesh or not. God, where did I think of this? The script is, to put it gently, a first draft. I like the story on a macro level, but definitely have to rework the finer details. But I accomplished what I set out to do. I wrote a correctly formatted screenplay. Two, in fact. And in the process, I discovered that I really enjoy screenwriting. This summer, seeing as I'm probably not going anywhere anytime soon, I set myself a goal. I want to write 50 pages of screenplays, or around half the length of a feature film. I'm telling you guys this because if I put my goal out onto the internet, I'll feel more obligated to accomplish it. I'll be putting my work up on my website and would love any feedback you guys have to offer me. Thank you guys so much for watching my presentation, and don't forget, check out Trelby, the #1 name in screenwriting.